Good morning, my Real News Midday TV family. Thank you so much for tuning in this morning for another news update for Thursday, September 4, 2025. And I'm wishing for everyone a wonderful and a productive day. And in the news this morning, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. Wholeness defiant in victory speech. Prime Minister Andrew Holness delivered a powerful victory speech after the Jamaica Labour Party's general election win on Wednesday, declaring, "No weapon formed against me shall prosper," during his address to supporters at the JLP headquarters on Belmont Road in St. Andrew. His remarks were made against the background of a grueling campaign during which he had to fend off allegations of corruption. "Jamaica is at a special place today. It's an opportunity," Holness told the Labourettes. "For me, it was also a personal challenge. After all the attacks, the lies, the rumors, the innuendos, I am still solid as a rock. They can't stop me now," he added, quoting lyrics from reggae icon Sizzla, who he recently credited as an inspiration. The JLP won 34 seats to the PNP's 29, following the preliminary counting of votes on Wednesday night to clinch a historic third consecutive term in government. Apparently humbled by the slim margin of victory, Holness cautioned against the complacency. "In the third term, as in the first and the second, we must guard against arrogance. We must develop an even keener ears to listen to the people. We must address the needs of the people. And while it is clear the majority has chosen the Jamaica Labour Party, there are still those who don't share that view," Holness said. He also acknowledged that more needs to be done to have more Jamaicans feel the benefit of the economic gains the island has made over the last decade. They want a prosperity to come to their driveway and their doorway. This government must be laser-focused to ensure that there is prosperity for all Jamaicans, Holness said. "Prosperity may mean peace, their children get into university, the road fixed in their community. We must be focused on delivering these basic services." Golden concedes a defeat. People's National Party President Mark Golding has officially conceded the 2025 general election to the Jamaica Labour Party. The JLP won 34 seats to PNP's 29, following the preliminary counting of votes on Wednesday night. Addressing his supporters at the PNP headquarters in St. Andrew, Golding said, "First of all, I think it's my duty as a believer in democracy to acknowledge and concede the results and to congratulate our opponent, the Jamaica Labour Party, for their victory tonight. Jamaica's democracy is important and we must cherish it. Sometimes it brings a bitter disappointment." Admitting that he was disappointed with the outcome, Golding said he accepted the results of the election. He used the platform to thank several people, including comrades, from the party's performance. He also expressed his satisfaction with the country having fairly safe election. Senior citizen murdered at home in St. Anne. Detectives in St. Anne are investigating the murder of a senior citizen at his home in Epworth near St. Anne's Bay. The body of 77-year-old Errol Henry, a returned resident, was found bound and gagged about 7:30 p.m. on Tuesday. Mr. Henry recently returned to Jamaica after living in Canada for several years. It is reported that he was last seen on Monday evening. Concerned residents gained entry to his house on Tuesday evening and found his body in a bedroom. Ian Bell, counsel for the Beechertown Division, said the murder of the senior resident has come as a shock to the quiet community.
"It cannot be that these persons would leave their community, go out and work hard in the cold, and come back now to relax and enjoy their retirement. And this is what we have to offer them in Jamaica. It is sad. I condemn every act of violence in this manner. And I said already and I will say again, I honestly believe that we must not take murders like these for granted or for joke. Serious penalty must be the outcome of these culprits.
Claims of physical assault mar voting in St. Elizabeth Southeastern. The St. Elizabeth police are investigating an incident in the St. Elizabeth Southeastern constituency in which the People's National Party candidate Norman Scott is accused of assaulting an election day worker at the polling station at the B.B. Koch High School. The worker, who claimed that she was hit in the face by Mr. Scott, has filed a report with the police. But speaking with the news, Mr. Scott denied the allegations.
A lady who was dressed in JLP outfit shouted and said, "Oh, your EOJ worker and the candidate, the PNP candidate, I hug you up. You can't stay in there. Call me right, call me right." By that time, a number of others joined with her. So I was about going into the other polling station. An elderly man stepped into the door and blocked my pathway. My security detail came and tried to prevent him from stopping me. And a twang of persons all converged. "You can't go in there, you can't go in there, you can't go in there." And in an ensuing tugging that they've been doing, and I've been flashing myself off. Like, see, something similar to that occurred. It's, God, I believe in God because it was something. I wasn't looking behind who was, but I know people were trying to prevent me from entering because my security detail had already stopped the gentleman from allowing me to go inside. And I don't know. Well, I'm told that someone got hit and other things. I don't know what else happened.
3 detained after crash leads to violent altercation in St. Elizabeth. 3 men are in custody and are to be questioned in relation to a shooting incident on the Barbary Hall Main Road in St. Elizabeth on Tuesday. The incident stemmed from a dispute which developed into a physical altercation and led to a vehicle being fired on. Superintendent Coleridge Minto, commanding officer for the St. Elizabeth Police, said the incident unfolded about 3:30 p.m. when a Toyota RAV4 collided with a motorcycle. Both vehicles were traveling in the same direction when the motorcycle crashed into the rear of the RAV4. Following the crash, both drivers got into a physical confrontation, which was joined by a passenger on the motorcycle. It is further reported that the licensed firearm of the RAV4 driver was forcibly taken from him and used to fire several shots at his vehicle. The police were alerted. The firearm was seized and the men arrested. Macookspin resident shot and killed by police shortly after voting in election. Election day in St. Catherine was marred by a fatal police shooting in Macookspin that has sparked a controversy and a community outrage. The deceased has been identified as 32-year-old Fabian Brown, a resident of Macookspin and an employee of Jamaica Brawlers. According to police reports, the incident occurred around 3:30 p.m. on Wednesday while officers were patrolling the community where several polling stations were in operation. Lawmen say they came under heavy gunfire from armed men, triggering a running gun battle. During the exchange, one man was shot and wounded. He was later pronounced dead at hospital. The police also reported that a firearm was recovered at the scene. However, residents of Macookspin are disputing the official version of events. They insisted that Brown was not involved in any shootout. Instead, they claim he had just returned home from work, cast his ballot at a nearby polling station, and was preparing to celebrate the close of polls with neighbors under a tree where cooking was taking place. Community members alleged that heavily armed police personnel suddenly stormed the area and began firing indiscriminately. They say Brown, along with several others, attempted to run for cover. While fleeing, Brown was reportedly shot in the leg and collapsed. Eyewitnesses further alleged that a cop then caught up with him and they fired several additional rounds into his body. Residents described Brown as a hardworking man and they strongly rejected the police's claim that a weapon was recovered from him. The shooting has left the community tense even as electoral activities continued in the wider Spanish Town area throughout the day. The Independent Commission of Investigations is probing the killing of Brown. Guys, thanks for watching. Please join us this afternoon at 2 p.m. for another news update.